Dr. James Smith. He's an emergency physician who has volunteered in Gaza. He was recently part of that global flotilla that tried to bring in aid by boat into Gaza. He disembarked from that mission before the flotilla was intercepted by Israeli military. So do you think this ceasefire will lead to an improvement of humanitarian conditions in Gaza and this lasting peace?
Well, I think there are two key questions there, Perry. One, humanitarian access. I mean, this is, of course, one of the things that is most urgently needed. What we need to see in the next couple of days is a huge upsurge in the delivery of essential and the most basic forms of humanitarian assistance: water, food, medicine, fuel to keep the hospitals running, and so on. But I think we also need to be clear when we acknowledge this, that many of these things aren't negotiables. These are legal, political, and moral requirements. And in many ways, many of these concessions are they're simply an admission of guilt on the part of Israel. When we see this influx of humanitarian aid in the coming days, it will become very clear the extent to which Israel has maintained its grip over Gaza and has titrated humanitarian access, not just in the last 2 years, but for decades. With respect to peace, again, I think this is the critical question. You can't have peace without justice, and you can't have justice without accountability. And accountability and justice are not being discussed at all as part of this process.
We're watching video right now of some people in Gaza who are carrying what appears to be aid boxes on their head and what appears to be bags of food over their shoulders. What has to be done right now to help those people on the ground? What's the immediate need?
An end to all forms of military violence, a complete withdrawal of the Israeli military, no more air, sea, or land artillery bombardment. The UN has long said that it's not possible to maintain a functional humanitarian system while the violence continues. And then, of course, access is key. The UN and importantly, Palestinian organizations that are well placed, are best placed to identify needs and to respond to them ethically and appropriately. They are ready and they are equipped to go. We need to consider that all aspects of social life have been targeted. The health system has been decimated. Back in January, the WHO estimated that $10 billion would be needed as part of a 5-year recovery plan. That number will most likely have doubled by now. 650,000 school-aged children that have been denied access to basic education for 2 years. And of course, tens of thousands of children and adults that are suffering still from acute malnutrition as a result of Israel's strategy of deliberate starvation. These are all things that must be managed in the short term to avoid a deepening of this already catastrophic situation.